what you don't know, some of you may not know about Caroline, is that she was the one who invited me to Toastmasters in the first place and is a dear friend of mine. When Caroline and I were talking about what she was going to speak about today, she had told me that she was going to be vulnerable with this speech, which I absolutely loved, and that she was going to be talking about her realization that she was not as mature as she thought she might be, and I loved how you approached that. I loved how you were vulnerable and you were brave, and that you came out here and you told us your self-realizations that you've recently discovered, but did it in a way that was light and humorous. I thought that was really good, bringing that into the speech. I told Caroline as I came up here that I was not going to go easy on her, so fair warning, and that's okay. That's what she expects and that's what she wants because she wants to grow. So, in light of that, a few things that I would challenge you to work on in the future. One of them is that you referenced the last time we came, our last meeting, referencing both Jesse's speech as well as Tim's. And there were a lot of us who were here at that meeting, and we know exactly what you were talking about, but there are some that weren't at that meeting. And you referenced those, but in a way that if you hadn't been at that meeting, I don't know that we would have, I'd be interested for those who weren't at that meeting if they could have caught on to what you were referring to. And so I would challenge you just to remember that not all of us are experiencing the same things that you have. In your intro, you talked about using pathways and how this was going to help us as a self-development tool. I don't know that I got how pathways, I didn't get pathways out of this speech. And I may have missed it, but it just wasn't something that I heard come out in your speech. And so if you're going to mention it in the intro, make sure that it is referenced again in your speech. I thought that you spoke here confidently and you had a great presence, but you were often referring to your notes, right? And that distracted the audience from your speech because you were coming over here and we knew that there were notes over here, okay? So, all of this can be fixed by one thing. You knew that you were speaking over 2 months ago, right? So there's a simple fix. And I'm calling you out on this because I've been here for 2 years, and while you have the great ability to come up with a speech last minute that is better than most of us, 90% of the time you will say, I just made this up last night. So my challenge for you is to do the speech again because I think it's powerful and important. And I would challenge you to start thinking now about how you're going to deliver it, and that will fix it. And I look forward to hearing that speech.
All right, let's